9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it said.
Beautiful people, patrons of Women's Wrestling Talk. It is I, your mayor, and it is a Monday evening. And that means it's time for the Monday Night Mayor Raw post show. And the mayor's in a great mood. You can tell by what the mayor's wearing. The mayor's in a great mood. I'm going to let y'all fill up these chats. And we had an early edition of Monday Night Raw tonight, but the mayor wanted to go back and rewatch the episode and make sure I didn't miss anything and just make sure that I gave you guys quality tonight because I'm feeling better. Last week I was a little under the weather, so thank you guys for rocking with me. But the mayor's in a damn good mood. And we'll get there. But Monday Night Raw, we got some changes to the landscape. We know who we're going to get in the finals of the #1 contendership for Roman Reigns in the Luchador tournament. And I'll just rip the Band-Aid off a little bit, the landscape of the women's division. The landscape is going to change here in three short weeks. But we'll jump right into it while you guys are in the chat. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, put some aqua and pink hearts in the chat for me because we here now. We opened up LA Knight, Solo Sikoa. LA Knight talking about still pretty much calling out Roman Reigns, wanting his singles match against Roman Reigns, and looking at the landscape after WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and how Roman did those matches on himself, but how the bloodline is still being sent after LA Knight. Calling Roman Reigns a coward. Eventually, LA Knight will get his one-on-one title match. I've got to believe that's going to take place at maybe not Money in the Bank. Maybe Money in the Bank would be too soon now with what we saw at the end of Monday Night Raw, but I feel like it might actually take place at Survivor Series since they've already started promotion for that. But he was interrupted by Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa let him know, thank you for having us back. And we kind of get this Mega Powers thing. We're going to continue having each other's back. Very interesting segment, I'd say. I think LA Knight's in a good place. It's very clear that Solo's in a good place because now he has Pew Pew merch. If you haven't seen that, that is a thing. The Warning Shot Pew is now merchandise you can buy on WWEshop.com. So this version of Solo is not going anywhere. To my surprise, I thought for sure he was going to be heading back to the bloodline very soon. But they were interrupted by the Usos, vilifying Solo for going against his brothers, going against the orders of the tribal chief. Just like last week, I feel like I don't know what the end game is here. And I don't know what the penalty or the complications are with him losing a match that states he would have to go back to the family. We've seen all these different types of versions of tribal combat where your word is your oath, and he went against that. So I'm very curious to know what, if anything, from the elders' point of view, is Solo's punishment for that and when we're going to enact that rule. But this became a thing where the Usos are going to pretty much get their lick back on Solo for taking out Roman, for going back on his word, and we get a tag team match in the finals of Monday Night Raw in the main event. I would say the highlight of this segment, again, outside of LA Knight looking very comfortable on the mic, is Solo Sikoa hitting the Matrix when Jay gave his warning shot, still making fun of his brother or brothers, and still making light of the bloodline. I really don't know. I really wish I knew the end game here, guys. I really wish I understood what the play is for Solo Sikoa, because I'm so confused that was the move that they made for Solo, pretty much running the Sami Zayn play when he didn't want to attack Kevin Owens a few years ago. First action of the night, Stanford Vaquer returning to the ring after 4 months after getting taken out on the Raw after WrestleMania, taking on Roxanne Perez, who surprisingly enough, if you're keeping score of Roxy, she's been one of the more workhorse performers on the Red brand. Not in a good spot winning. I believe before this match, she was 2-20 in her last 22 matches. But the match itself, Vaquer showed no ring rust whatsoever. Looked strong in the ring, as did Roxy. Roxy's a damn good performer. And I will say, shout out to the councilman, I'm going to actually bang the table for him right now. I feel like she should be Miss Money in the Bank. I think we need to expedite all this Judgment Day stuff that's going on. They don't seem like a unified front. It just seems like Judgment Day East and West. The men are off doing their own thing while the women are doing their own thing. Not much cohesion there. I think it would speed things up if Roxy does get the briefcase. So I hope to see that. By the way, Vaquer and Roxy put on a banger. Judgment Day did get their hands in this match at different points, which prompted Becky Lynch to come out to stop the interference, take out Raquel. Thank God Raquel gets something to do next week, because let's not forget that she is the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Allowed Stephanie to pick up the win. And I think she debuted a new version of her finisher with the butterfly suplex into the knees, which looked absolutely devastating. But another loss for Roxy. She's now 2-22, I believe, in her last 24 matches, which says a lot. She's really like earning her pennants on Monday Night Raw, not in a winning fashion, oftentimes on her back. Prompted Liv to try to get the jump off of her, which Becky took out Liv. Said that Stephanie now not only owes her once, but owes her twice. And just to jump the gun there, we now know that Stephanie Vaquer will get her rematch in 2 weeks. I believe that's what, the Labor Day? September, I think that's September 6th. That edition of Monday Night Raw, she will get her rematch against Liv Morgan, one-on-one for the women's title. Got to feel like Becky's going to feel slighted by not being included in that match. So I'm interested to see exactly what happens in that match. But again, shout out to the Prodigy, man. I can't say I've seen her had a bad match on Monday Night Raw. Feel like she's destined to have a championship soon, but I do hope she gets skyrocketed with the briefcase. Next up, qualifiers tournament for Roman Reigns in New Mexico City. Sorry, not in Mexico City. But on Monday Night Raw, Rey Fenix, Dragon Lee, which we'll go ahead and call it now. This was the match of the night. Two high-flying styles. Dragon Lee showcasing why he should be considered as one of the top luchadors in the WWE right now. But Rey Fenix, I feel like it's just his time. Hit a Mexican muscle buster to take out Dragon Lee. But the move of the night, I would say, Dragon Lee soaring to Rey Fenix that was perched up on top of the announce table, hitting a kind of a somersault, colliding in him at that speed is insane. It is insane. And I feel like, I know Dragon Lee has had different moments before where he's been considered one of the top stars, especially one of the top luchadors. And it feels like his time is coming around again because he's still putting on great work. I just feel like this was the example where we needed to remind everybody that Rey Fenix is in the WWE. And he's been showing that week over week that, like, hey, like, I'm the showcase. Like, I'm equally as good as these other luchadors, equally as good as my brother. Don't know what happened with him being on SmackDown with the writing, but, like, now it's showing that, hey, Rey Fenix did get signed last year too, and, like, he's every bit of, like, damn good. So happy to see he got moved on in competition, and we'll see what happens as we continue with the tournament next week now that we have the final set. And I'll be honest with you guys, this is where, after this match, we got a vignette. And if I'm being honest, everything after this vignette did not matter to me. Just go band it up. Nothing mattered. Because the mayor is getting something that's very near and dear to him on the Monday Night Raw brand in Mexico City on September 14th. And guys,
I prayed for this and it happened.
I think you guys know where I'm going with this. We got a vignette of a young lady in a, let's just call it a night out dress, and walking through the streets of Miami, where she's in this dress in the nightclub and then removed her garb to go into fight mode at the gym. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very clear to me, it's very clear to all of you that Lola Vice is now going to be on the Monday Night Raw brand after it was rumored that she would be on the SmackDown brand. This almost makes up for the wrongs of the Underground just a few weeks ago. It almost makes up for the wrongs, but damn it. Like I said, nothing else mattered after this. Lola Vice on Monday Night Raw. We beating up hoes in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, September 14th. I don't know what we going to do. I don't know who we coming after. She might be somebody that can go save Stephanie because Stephanie don't have no real allies. Becky Lynch isn't a real ally. We know Lola and Stephanie had some stuff back then. But the infusion into this women's division, because we know we got to still platform Blake on SmackDown. Now she's starting to be seen a lot more. Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Adam Pearce. Thank you, Triple H. Hickenbottom, we still got some men's to make, but this is a good goddamn start. Lola Vice on Monday Night Raw. I couldn't be happier. And I can't wait to see who we knock out first. Only thing that will make this better is if we get a title match off rip. September 14th. Be there. And you know what? The mayor is so gracious for this moment. Lola Vice City being on Monday Night Raw. We're going to dub this Monday Night Vice. September 14th will be a watch-along episode. We will take that moment in together as a family. You have the mayor's word. Next up, we got the contract signing. The ruler, Bron Breakker, who is the future of WWE, taking place at Sunday night's main event in just a couple weeks. Hopefully I can be in the building there. We'll see what happens with travel and stuff like that. But this was their contract signing. And it was a great war of words. I like that the past few weeks, whereas we didn't really get that in the Bron Breakker feud, we're seeing Oba stand on his own two on the mic. Stand on his own two against Paul on the mic. So we're seeing him. It's not much his character, but like being like, yo, I can body you on the mic and in this ring. So him doing his impression of Bron Breakker a week ago, Bron Breakker had a very emotional promo saying like, hey, you only got this far because I got hurt. I was in your same spot where they were barking in every town. I was the guy. And then by no fault of anybody taking me out, I got hurt. And then you slide in and got this position that is actually mine. Not because you beat anybody, not because you've done anything since you've been here. And I think Braun should have brought up the fact that Oba hasn't been a champion on main roster. Just go ahead and just call that what it is. But Oba gave a very strong response to that, saying that if you were in 2002, yeah, you could have been the guy there. I could have seen that. 2015, yeah, I could have seen that. But you have the unfortunate pleasure of being in my era. So, sorry. You're not getting nothing for free out here. You have to be the person that's in my shadow, and that's just the way it is. The telltale signs here, this contract signing, we know how all contract signings end. Bron Breakker taking a step towards Paul and letting him know how he feels. Like, hey, I'm taking a backseat to Brock Lesnar when he gets here. You've been acting like you're advocating for this guy. I can barely get in touch with you. What's up? Go ahead and sign the contract for him. Then he takes a shot on Oba. Austin Theory tries to come help. Oba thwarts all that and lets him know, like, hey, in a few weeks, I'm going to show you why I am the future and you are not. So this is this is the biggest match of that card. I hope we don't do the thing where, since it's Cody's hometown and we get that Randy rematch, that's the main event. This is the main event. It is. You're going to get a Trick Williams match. You're going to get Little Yachty surviving whatever time limit he has to get Trick Williams a match because he's all over the promotion. You're going, I forget the women's match that's announced for that, but this has to be the main event, guys, because this is another good pull for Oba because you're keeping him as far away from Roman and Punk as you possibly can. So this is a very good side quest, just like Brock Lesnar was. And after this, if they're going to just do it one time, you got to have him call his shot for the title match that he won from being King of the Ring. But good stuff all around in this promo, and it makes you that much more excited for the match. I'm surprised that these two came to blows. I figured that they would not have these two mixed up until Sunday night main event. But with just another couple weeks, I feel like you're going to see Bron get his lick back next week, possibly spear Oba, put him in some pain, Vision get a leg up on him, which makes Oba look that much menacing heading into Sunday night. Finally, guys, our next match, Javon Evans and Big Cass. We finally see what the presentation was of Big Cass. You know what? I kind of dig it. I kind of dig the silhouette, showcasing how big he is. Not really digging the music, but maybe it grows on me. And I was even more surprised by the match. Even more surprised by the match because Javon Evans got a ton of offense in. This wasn't like your typical David versus Goliath where Goliath was just going to beat the brakes off David. This was Javon like getting his shit off. A lot of this match, even bloodied Cass. And I would say in this match, while Cass looked dominant at parts, Javon looked like the star here. Like I've been saying the past few weeks, Javon has been slowly picking up win after win after win. And Big Cass, I would say merely just survived, hit the big boot, got his win. And you can say that he might be done with Javon. Javon's in the rear view. Maybe not. But what happened at the beginning of the night with Javon getting his lick back on Dom and JD for like throwing him to Big Cass last week, even after he got beat up by him. Don't know where that's going. JD McDonough and Dom Mysterio attack Javon Evans after the match, so maybe that's another transition for Javon and Cass to get away from each other. Because I feel like I said last week, lose scenario. You have Big Cass beat Javon, so what? Javon eventually gets his win back against Big Cass. Kind of hurts this guy who you're trying to push somewhere. Like it made more sense to have Cass take out a bigger threat on the roster to the title picture. So like. Don't know where we go from here. It seems like Javon's going to have to get his comeuppance against the Judgment Day again after picking up a win against JD. Probably makes sense that he'll go against Dom Mysterio next Monday. Maybe even a tag team match because we're starting to see Dom Mysterio kind of bark at Ray a lot more about not being in this tournament. So got to feel like he's going to have some influence in the tournament finals just despite his dad. Got to feel like something's going to come of that ahead of Triple Mania, ahead of this match against Roman Reigns. But Big Cass picks up the win, looks strong going into whatever future we're going to have for him. But finally, we get to see the entrance. We get to see the presentation for Big Cass, which I think what's been lacking after all the vignettes. One thing I will say about Big Cass that shocked me is Michael Cole's sentiments about Big Cass not being remorseful for a second chance and saying like he doesn't know why he got fired years ago, doesn't take any responsibility or accountability for those things. They pretty much like downplayed the vignettes that they had leading up to his August 3rd debut. I thought that was weird because I believe in those vignettes he was talking about the headlines and how he was coming for redemption. So they're saying that this isn't a redemption arc. This is the same guy who was kind of a brat, just thinking he can just run over everybody. So I'm interested to see where that goes going forward. And we've only seen Cass with a mic once backstage. So part of the Raw roster, got to feel like he will fit in nicely with the IC title picture and Chad Gable. But first wrestling match in 8 years in WWE, Cass looked great. Javon's a perfect dance partner for him. Gotta wonder where Cass goes next because he's been trying to squash everybody who's smaller than him. So we'll see. Number one contenders match, Penta taking on Parka. And guys, I think we knew where we were going here. Great showcase for Parka. Penta hits a Mexican Destroyer. You see the moment after the match where Penta and his brother Rey Fenix embrace. And yes, we are getting a Lucha Bros singles match before we ever get these guys tagging together. That's your finals for who is going to take on the Tribal Chief for the World Championship. And if you guys have any early prediction in the chat, throw them in there because I'm not that convinced that it's Penta. I think everybody's looked at this tournament and said like, oh yeah, it has to be Penta because Penta's the bigger star. But like, I don't buy that. When Penta, I think it was, did Penta get hurt or Ray got hurt? I don't remember, but Rey Fenix debuted at WrestleMania last year. Great showcase in that match. I really feel like this is a good time to remind people who Rey Fenix is. If Rey Fenix was able to get a leg up on his brother, who's a star, man-made, regardless of how you look at it. Like, Penta takes a L to Rey Fenix, it doesn't hurt him. Penta can show up on Raw like he has every week since this Netflix stuff started, and still look like $1 million. Presentation-wise, call his shot against any match, get a rematch against Chad, call his shot against I feel like any champion across any brand and looks stamped. But Rey, to me, Rey Fenix has more to lose, because where does he go outside of this tournament on the main roster? We know he's a cruiserweight champion in AAA, but in the main roster sphere, he's been pigeonholed to like good matches on SmackDown, but really a lot of backstage segments. So I feel like I'm tying my horse to Rey Fenix to upset his brother and get a W there. Also backstage, on top of what we're talking about here, we did see that Solrook is going to get a rematch against Raquel Rodriguez next week for the Intercontinental Championship. And they were her and Io, which, by the way, sidebar, hate what we're doing with Io. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Just move Io to SmackDown. Because what are we doing? She's just happy-go-lucky in the background, was happy in the tag team with Sol. Now she's just happy. Oh, I'm so happy that you're getting your title opportunities. Like, what is Io doing? Why Io ain't looking for smoke against the Judgment Day? Why is Io not calling her shot to be women's champion again? Yes, she lost a match at SummerSlam, but so what? She should be in that picture still, and we got her run around backstage just emoting because Lyra Valkyria looks scary. And I was vocal about it last week. I think Lyra should have won the match last week. I'm happy that she's still looking for the shot and trying to weasel her way into the match. And even saying like, hey, you should just give me the match because Raquel going to smoke you next week because you bloodied her last time. So we're still doing the Lyra versus Sol thing. We're still bringing up Bayley's name on programming and saying like, hey, Bayley talked to me like that last time. And you kind of see what happened with her. I think, who was Bayley chopping it up with on socials yesterday? I think it was Blake Morrell. There was some back and forth there, and Blake was pretty much telling her to show up to SmackDown. And I think there was also a moment with Bayley saying like, hey, her and Pierce should have a talk. Pierce saying, you know where my office is, would love to talk. So maybe that means Bayley's contractual obligations have gotten better. Maybe that means her return to WWE programming is imminent, which means that you'll probably get some lick back against Lyra. But I would love for Lyra to actually have a match with Raquel. I don't believe in the whole, we got to do traditional babyface versus heel stuff. Having action between two heels is fun to me. So I hope that if Lyra does interfere in this match, I hope she does get a one-on-one versus Raquel, because I think it would be a fun showcase of contrasting styles and like similar personality traits. But Lyra's doing money character work. Do better with Io, WWE, because it's trash. And we'll see if Sol can regain her title next week. Main event time. Usos versus LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. I thought the presentation for Solo was pretty monstrous here too. It kind of felt like Solo when he was still the enforcer of the bloodline, the way they gave him that entrance. And I will say this was a match where the Usos looked like one of the best tag teams of all time, showed their tag team work. And now, as opposed to getting a traditional ending, we got something completely different, which is where my surprise comes in, because we saw the moment earlier in the night where the Usos, Black Ulufalas, they're the captains now. They call it the play, sort of, so to speak, and told Jacob to stay backstage, which he was already going to do anyway. So there's nothing wrong with that relationship. Jacob still is loyal to the tribal chief and only takes the play from the tribal chief. But he still showed the emotion that he's upset that these guys got some extra stripes in the game with the family and he didn't, which is stupid because he got the brown Ulufala first. Like, don't insult our intelligence. We saw that. He got even though it broke because he went and attacked the old boy, I think it was LA Knight. We saw that he got one. He just didn't get a title with it. It's like, what are we doing? But in this match, the match did not get a finish because we saw Royce Keys spear Jay and Solo Sikoa through the barricade. I have some problems with that. On top of that, we saw a tag team into the ring to take out LA Knight and then Big Jim. And then I forget what OTM's finisher is called. But yes, OTM was a tag team. Bronco Nima and Lucian Price, known of NXT, even back to these, I think it's dating back to 2.0 days. They've been in NXT for a minute. Debuting this new faction with Royce Keys, who was just taken out of action, I want to say, just 2 weeks ago? That Jacob left him bloodied in the ring, crushing the larynx with the Tongan death grip, and he had to be stretchered out. He's already back. And looking for revenge, seemingly against everybody. And just to poke holes in this, because people have been tweeting me about it, I see where they're going with it, but it still doesn't make sense. One, they said Royce Keys was out indefinitely. It's only been a couple weeks. We're still in the same month. How is Royce Keys back, healthy, and cleared enough to compete this soon? Doesn't make sense. Poke holes in that. What is the connection with OTM? Why? Didn't we just see Bronco Nima get taken out of Perez Del Mall? So that was short-lived. He just realigned with his brother Lucian Price, saved him, I think, from the Vanity Project on NXT. I just don't get it and why. I'm happy for them. This call-up is good for them. These guys have been in NXT for a while. I wouldn't say they've had a lot of high moments in NXT. In the tag team division, I feel like they were just starting to get their groove where the crowd was behind them. The crowd was invested in their work as a tag team. And I feel like they had a story where it's like, hey, are you with me or are you with Perez Del Mall? I feel like we were starting to get them in a meaningful storyline. And we just dismissed that. And there's not a lot of people who need NXT as that serious launch pad, but I feel like these guys did because they've kind of had a lot of start and stop on TV, not on TV. And this might help them. I'm not going to lie. Being aligned with Royce Keys, I think it might help them, but I feel like they're going to have to do some vignettes or backstage segments to really tie it together because the timing of it feels off, especially for Royce Keys just being injured. But they laid waste to everybody in the ring, and it seems like we have a new trio. Now, for Royce Keys, who just picked up the big win at SummerSlam with LA Knight and Solo, I'm not going to lie, it feels odd. It was odd. These were your boys you aligned with. They made Royce Keys look like a star all summer in the build-up to that three-way match, going toe-to-toe with Jacob, just to turn him heel. Doesn't really make sense to me. And his smoke is really not with the Bloodline and these other two guys. It's with Jacob. Jacob, the one that whooped your ass. Why are you mad? And you go get other people. I don't get it. So if you in the chat, explain to me what you think, because I don't understand the logic here, especially being that he just got whooped. It hasn't even been 30 days for that type of beating to sit. That part I don't like, but I think the trio could have legs. Shout out to Corey Graves for not being able to catch himself and calling him Hobbs. But it just feels rushed. Feels very microwave to create another faction. I think it'll help OTM overall, but I'm not really certain what it means for Royce Keys. But shout out to Royce Keys getting his own faction. At the end of the day, that part is cool. I just think the timing of it all is rushed, and the logistics behind it is even worse, especially with everything we've seen with the Bloodline saga, with Royce Keys being alive with Solo and LA Knight. Now you not only have the Bloodline, you have this new faction, and just Solo and LA. They got each other's back when Royce was just teaming with them within this month. I can't call it. But that's how we ended Monday Night Raw, y'all. And like I said, we know that the IC title will be defended next week. We know we're going to get a Lucha Bros final. The winner's going to take on Roman Reigns. And the rivalry between Femi and Bron Breakker is only growing stronger. But I got to say, I hope we get some more clarity on what the hell this was to end Monday Night Raw. And maybe they do it on the socials. Maybe they don't wait 7 days till next week. Maybe they do it on the socials But outside of Lola Vice, which was the most important thing that we'll talk about today, the mayor getting Monday Night Vice, that's the most important thing of this entire 30 minutes. Something that did stand out to me that was really cool is we got a whole Zilla Fatu vignette on Monday Night Raw. Zilla only been at NXT for a brief couple of weeks, and we're already airing packages about his career on the Indies on Monday Night Raw to make him look like a bigger star ahead of his first match, which will be a fatal 4-way match at Heatwave. I think that's really cool, and I like that the WWE is trying to do more on the social side of things to build up this talent and build up their stars. I thought that was dope. I thought that was dope for Zilla ahead of NXT tomorrow night. But again, drop your thoughts in the chat. Let me know what you think about Monday Night Raw. I thought it was a very interesting episode. Very happy for reasons. But often, I would say at the end of the day, definitely left confused by the direction of this new faction. But hey, in another 2 months, we'll be in War Game season. So maybe it'll all roll up there. But that's been your recap for the week, guys. I'll try to be on live this week because I do feel a little bit better. I was under the weather last week, so had to try to get healthy. We will have the Tuesday night takeover, I think we're calling it, with Kesh, NXT tomorrow. The Timeless Elite, formerly known as CEO Wednesdays, for AEW Dynamite on Wednesday with Courtney, as well as the TNA watch-along, Impact watch-along with Courtney on Thursdays. I believe K-Fabers on Thursdays as well. And then the Honey Night SmackDown should return this Friday as well. Of course, WWE Live Wednesday and Friday afternoons, evenings, depending on what time zone you're in. And I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. I know I made you guys wait a couple hours on this early edition of Monday Night Raw, and I apologize, but I wanted to go back and make sure I watched everything thoroughly to give you guys this recap. The mayor is back. Like I said, we'll be back next Monday, the Monday after that for I believe the Labor Day show. And then the 14th, guys, the budget has cleared and it has increased. And the mayor will give you guys a watch along that day because that's the debut of Monday Night Vice. But again, tap in with your boy on the socials. We putting the content out. We will be at Lucha Vavoom in LA this Friday at the Mayan. If you're there, pull up. Also at Fallout House of Glory on the 4th of September. We'll be out there as well. Pull up and holler at your boy if you're at that show. And of course, we're just going to be out here getting this content. You can follow me on the socials at Said Is The Answer on IG, on TikTok, on YouTube. Like and subscribe to YouTube. I'm trying to grow that thing. Help your boy out. And I'd says on the Twitter streets. But until then, we'll catch you guys for programming tomorrow. Make sure you tap in with all these lovely creators here on Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Peace out, y'all.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.